back to another Realtor Spotlight. Today, we got Katie Gastineau with us. Katie, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to have you finally. You were our first Realtor here, right?
Yeah, indeed.
You
I
were.
really was.
You were. I remember meeting you at, I think you and Otis at Panera.
Yeah.
Is that where we met?
Yeah.
What
Good
were you
memory.
thinking?
Well, I guess I was just new to real estate. I think I got my license March 28th
Right.
and interviewed with a couple different companies, and they weren't going to be a good fit for me.
Who else did you interview with?
Keller Elite and
Keller Elite. Oh, North.
Mhm,
Okay. Yeah,
North.
yeah.
I didn't feel like for just getting into the business it was going to be
Right,
anything that was going to be good for me.
Right. And they're north, and why would you? And you were south. Why would you?
There was another friend that I knew
Okay, gotcha.
that worked there,
Okay.
so it
Right.
just So then finally I called Otis and I was like, "You got anything? Where should I go?" And he goes, "Well, actually,
Oh, that's right.
we are
Okay.
getting ready to open our own brokerage.
Right.
If you can hold off for a little while." And I was like, "Okay, like when?"
Right.
He's like, "Probably like July." I'm like, "Well, heck,
Right.
might as well."
Okay. Interesting how that
So-
all worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you got your license, took the test, did all that. Were you thinking full time, or was this something you just wanted to get out of doing what you were doing? What was your thoughts?
No, I knew it was going to be full time.
Yeah.
I was, I had owned my own spraying,
Right.
fertilizing company
Right. You sprayed
for
one of
like 5
my-
years.
Right.
I just was getting sick of working like a dude all the time.
Uh-huh.
So,
That's great.
you know,
Did you make much money doing that, or was it?
I did okay. I mean, enough.
Was that coming from Witt's? Were they referrals from his?
Some
or-
of them, yeah.
Okay.
Some of it was, and some of it was, just referrals from,
Yeah. And did you get into that, the fertilizing or what spraying, whatever you call it, from Witt's stuff, or was this something you knew going into it?
No, really it was just so that we could both work for ourselves. Prior to that, I was working at Arvis Bank for a while.
Were you a bank teller?
I was a bank teller.
Nice.
And I've done all sorts of things, but
Arvest on Western?
yes.
Okay.
The big branch.
Yeah. Over there by
89th.
Yeah.
So, and I did like it, and I actually was they were getting ready to move me up, but then we decided to, start the other part of the business, and it was a lot more flexible.
Uh-huh.
So,
Interesting. So you got your license, got into real estate. Let's before we get into real estate, where are you originally from?
Iowa.
Iowa. Okay.
Knoxville, Iowa.
What city?
Knoxville?
Knoxville, like Tennessee, but Iowa.
Yes.
All right. What part of Iowa? Where's that at?
It's southeast of Des Moines, probably like 40 minutes.
How far from
or so.
Mississippi? The river. Isn't the river? Isn't it the east side of Iowa?
So
It is.
it's probably
Separates Illinois.
it's about
and Iowa.
it's about an hour and a half from the west side of Iowa, and it's probably 2.5 hours from the east side.
Oh, okay. So you're
Uh-huh.
more central.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like
Right. Okay. So you live there, you grew up there, you're born there,
yep.
and then what got you here? How'd you get to Oklahoma?
My husband.
Okay. So how'd you meet?
We met through sprint car racing in my
Okay.
hometown, actually, through a mutual friend.
There's a track in your hometown?
It's actually the sprint car capital of the world. So 2 weeks out of the year, we've got people coming from literally all over the world to come watch these 2 weeks or race or whatever. It's incredible. It's a
And
very
you were
cool
interested
experience.
in that before you met him?
Yes.
And you would just go out there once a year, or
No, I mean,
That was
it
the
was usually
hangouts.
every weekend through the summer.
oh, wow.
I'm actually bartending at the bar across the street. That's also the world famous bar for
What's it
all the
called?
racers. Dingus.
Dingus. Didn't think much through that one, did they? Dingus.
Yeah, I think it started back in the 70s, and it just, kept, transferring owners, and
Right.
that's how I ended up there.
Okay, so you met Whit, and then he said move to Oklahoma.
Yeah. Well, we dated a year-long distance. Actually, after I'd first met him, he just got my phone number. And then he went back to Oklahoma, and he kept calling me. And I was like, who's this guy?
Right. Right.
Anyway, fast forward to January, I saw him again at the Chili Bowl Nationals in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
So you went to Tulsa.
Yes.
Why?
For the Chili Bowl Nationals, which is a different type of
Well,
car.
you're not racing. You're just going to watch?
Just going to watch. Yeah.
Okay, this was like an event.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
it is.
Okay.
Yeah, look it up.
All right. So, all right. So you went there, and then what happened?
We just met up again, and then we kind of started dating, and we dated a year-long distance, and finally he goes, why don't you just move? I'm like, all right. So I think 2008, February 15th, it was the day after Valentine's Day, he drove a flower truck for his uncle all the way making bulk flower deliveries
The capital?
all the way up to Iowa
Okay.
through
Picked you
like
up?
Kansas City and stuff. And then we loaded the truck back up with all my junk and headed south.
And where was he living at the time?
In Moore.
Okay.
Yep. 19th and Santa Fe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep.
Were you in the tornado? Oh, you were in the tornado.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But you had a house at that. Is that where he was living when you moved here?
Uh-huh.
Okay. He already had the place.
Yep.
I got you. All right. So you now we jump to real estate as far as that goes. You were our first, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think when I was thinking about you this morning when we were, I just kind of go through who I'm going to talk to, and you didn't know a whole lot when you started.
No.
You didn't know anything. Really.
I didn't know anything.
Right. Which
I didn't know
was
how to write a contract. You helped me write my first contract. I
right.
believe.
which we must have been writing them then. We weren't doing them on the computer at that point, were we?
No, it was on the computer. I
can't
didn't
believe I
know
even
how
knew
to
how to do that. Yeah.
Also, real estate school, they don't teach you how to do any of that. Just
Right.
saying.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, but what I've thought about you is you went from not knowing anything to where I feel like you're somebody that anybody can go to and ask any kind of question, and you've got the answer. So you've really educated yourself, figured it out. I think that's something that I'm really proud of you for.
Yeah.
As far as that's really admirable that you've figured all this out. And I don't feel like I guess we helped you. I don't know.
No, I do. I do feel like a lot of that stems because, especially when we first started out, we were small. I mean, we were
Right.
like 20 agents or something like that. I mean,
Well, just two at one point. It was just,
yeah. But I
Yeah.
mean, once we started rolling, I mean, it
Right.
was not, near
Yeah.
as many as it is now. And it's always still easy to call you or Otis or Karen or
Yeah.
whoever. I mean,
Or
John
Lisa.
Upshaw, I call a lot.
Okay.
He's very knowledgeable.
That's good.
And bouncing off of different agents that I have relationships with. So,
Right. As far, do you like what you do? Do you like being a
do.
realtor? What is it you like about it?
I just really like, it sounds corny, like helping people, but, really meeting new people and kind of helping them find what they need.
Right.
And, I feel like I'm constantly learning stuff from my clients too. Every client's different, whether it be a buyer or seller.
Right. Yeah, no, and you've really done good with it. I mean, I think, I don't know what's your best year. I think one year you did 4,
Yeah.
4.5, which, I mean, you've got a couple kids and you've got a busy life.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to take care of Whit probably too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
3 kids.
Yeah, 3 kids. I think I've heard you say that a few
Yeah.
times. But what is it you don't like about what you're doing?
Let's see. I really, it just comes down sometimes to like transactions when you can't get a hold of an agent.
Right.
Buyers that you work with for 2 months and then they, disappear like, poof.
Right.
There's always, but it's, any industry, you're going to have your
Sure.
frustrations. So
Right.
it's not anything that I necessarily find negative about real estate. It's just
That's good.
per transaction almost.
Right. One of the things that we talk about or I like to figure out is what's something about you that none of us would know. We know you're from Iowa, so you can't use that
Right.
one. We know you're into race car drivers,
Right.
whatever. So whatever.
And I was thinking about that question this morning. I was like, I'm a pretty open book for the most part.
Everybody says that.
I
I don't think
know.
they are.
And I was like, what doesn't anybody know about me that I haven't shared during a meeting or done, this or the other? Sorry. When I lived in Iowa,
Okay.
I
How old were you when you moved here?
was 20. 3.
Okay, so you were young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So about the age of 19, I actually took a factory job with Vermeer Manufacturing. I don't know,
I've heard of that.
large equipment. They do like brush chippers and stump cutters. And
Okay, that's not
anyway,
bad.
it's an entire mile of factories. So we've got
This is in Iowa.
7 plants. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So when I first started there, I had this terrible job, and then I got, adopted by this amazing manager while I was there. I ended up driving fork truck. So I would imagine
A
people.
forklift thing?
Forklift,
Okay,
yeah.
right.
So I did that for almost 4 years or whatever, and I was
Did you ever
a
screw
step
up?
under their manager. No, never.
I feel like everybody gets up there, they get them too high, it falls over or something.
No, I didn't do that, but I have gone a little too fast and kind of ran into a shelf before, but it was fine. Nothing
Your
fell
folks still live in Iowa?
over. Yes, my dad and my stepmom do. My mom is out in Kansas,
Okay.
So-
What part of Kansas is she in?
Bird City. She is in the corner. She's like an hour from the Colorado border and 20 minutes from Nebraska.
Okay.
So she is in like,
There's corn. A lot of corn.
little farm town.
Yeah. I mean, western or eastern Colorado's flat anyway, so it's not like
Yeah.
it's like what we think of Colorado. So,
Right.
And Nebraska's just horrible. Not that Iowa's that much better though. I was in Iowa a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And it is really, it's the same throughout. There's nothing. Tell me different. I don't know. I just didn't. I mean,
Tell me
I went to Des Moines.
Yeah.
I went to Iowa City, and then I went to a town in Fairfield, something south of Iowa City. Iowa City was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of a college
That's the
town.
old state capital.
Iowa City's the state capital.
It was the old state capital.
What is that? Des Moines. Mm-hmm. When did they change that?
Oh, yeah. Like
Before
I remember
you?
Iowa history. Yeah.
Okay.
It was
Well, you
before I was born. Like probably back in the. I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna. I'm not
Kind of
gonna
like
try.
Guthrie was the state.
Right.
It's good to have you, Katie. We'll be back next week.